Well, here we are, the regular season winding down, just this week and then next week, and finally the playoffs will start. By the way, I will be doing predictions for each game of the playoffs. It's sort of a special edition thing, but that isn't for another 2 weeks. Anyways, the Cardinals, who are surprisingly on a roll the past 2 months, they have won 6 of the last 7, and seeing how our game was the start of a turning point for them, as some of their players claim, I think it's only fair we are the team to bring it to a halt. Last year, when the Cards came to the clink, complete domination occurred. Then again, the Cards have a veteran QB this year. When we faced them in Arizona, we had 7 sacks, a few turnovers, and a damn good offensive output. Seeing how the game will be played in Seattle this week, don't be surprised if the totals are even better. At least for the Seahawks, that is. Both teams have some injuries to key players. Fitzgerald might not even play, which would be good for him. I'm sure nobody wants to see him get injured even more. Palmer is questionable as well to play. Then again, they are going to have the whole offseason to recover since the Cardinals have to win to stay alive in the playoff race, and that's not going to happen with this game being in Seattle. Even if they do play, they won't be 100%. On our side, only injury is J.R. Sweezy, and he ain't going to play because of the concussion he had last week. Seems like everybody on our O-line has missed at least one game this year due to some kind of injury. First matchup I got is the Seahawks defense versus the Cardinal offense. Last time we met, we got you guys for 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, and only 230 yards of offense. The Cards might be rolling as of these past 2 months, but nobody's rolling after they come to the clink. There's a reason why we are the best defense. Only chance would be in a shootout between the two offenses, but against this defense, coming off a shutout in the place where the Super Bowl will be held, there just isn't any chance. So I don't think we'll get as many sacks like we did in Arizona, simply because the Cardinals have been doing good. But I can see them getting at least 5 sacks, 2 picks, maybe a fumble recovery, and probably not even allow more than 250 yards passing. Second matchup I have is the Hawk offense versus the Cardinal defense. Last time you guys got us for 3 sacks and 2 fumbles. Then again, our 2 offensive tackles were injured, and we have backups playing that game. Seeing how fumbles were caused from those positions, we were able to run quite some amount of yards though. But seeing how the Cardinal run defense is the best in the league, I would say Russell will be throwing it more this game if Lynch can't break off a few good runs and keep getting the ball fed to him. Then again, he has been a top target receiving the past few games, so I think he'll get a good amount of receiving yards as well. Let's say Lynch will have at least 80 yards rushing. Hopefully he gets over the 100-yard mark, but seeing how they have only allowed Gore to break the century mark this season, it doesn't look like he will. He will get at least 1 score though, either through the air or on the ground. I also think Wilson will be getting 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, seeing how the run game might not function that well this week. Instead of a third matchup this week, I'm going to say the Seahawks special teams will be a major factor in this game. We've only given up 19 yards total on punt returns, 19 yards all season. Now that's unheard of, even back in the whole mud and grass football being played in the 1930s. Last week the Giants reluctantly got 4 yards, which hadn't happened in like 9 weeks for the Hawks, for an opponent to get some punt return yards. If you combine the kickoff and punting for starting field position by an opponent, something like starting at their own 16-yard line. And with our defense, you aren't going to be going 84 yards often to score touchdowns or even get 60 yards to get in field goal range. Just ask the Giants. So all in all, the defense brings the boom. They get 5 sacks, 2 picks, 3 turnovers total, and probably a defensive touchdown, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, while only allowing more than 250 yards passing and mostly 270 total yards. Wilson is going to have probably 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Lynch have at least 70 yards rushing and a score. Probably have at least 100 yards combined through the air and the ground. And the punt game will yield 0 yards in returns. And of course, can't forget the most important prediction of all, a Seahawk win. The final tally shall be the Seahawks 41 and the Cardinals 10. Much as I would love to see a second consecutive year where we pummel the Cards in our house, in reality, I can't see it happening. But I can see a demolishing happening instead. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will see you guys after Christmas.